And today, going back into the cricket world, I thought it was, I must get a big guest on the show. And I'm really happy to welcome my brother Adil Rashid, England cricketer, to the show. Assalamu alaikum, bro.
Wa alaikum salam. How you doing? You okay?
I'm okay, alhamdulillah. How's your family?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, all good. All good. Can't complain, Getting on with life and stuff, so can't complain.
2020 has been a frustrating year for you, I'd imagine, so far. Not getting to turn the arm over much.
Yeah, it's a frustrating year, not just for myself, but for everybody involved in sport, whichever sport is, rugby, football, cricket, boxing, everything. It's been a tough year. For everybody, everybody misses sport, just in general life as well. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's something that we, have to overcome, and I'm sure we'll do that as we all come together and unite. So it's a tough challenge, but I'm sure, and inshallah we can come through the other side.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Just to remind me, you're a father now. You still look like a young 17-year-old, 18-year-old. How many children do you have?
I have two kids, two boys. 6-year-old and 1.5-year-old. So
they've kept you busy in recent times.
I've been blessed. Yeah. So like I say, I've got my my hands full, and like I say, it's a honor and stuff. So
good
see what happens there.
Good stuff. So for the viewers, Adil Rashid has played for Yorkshire majority of his life. Born and bred 17th of February 1988 was born and bred in lovely Bradford, and has played for, like I said, Yorkshire for most of his years. Played for Adelaide Strikers, South Australia, and the Big Bash. We'll touch on those things. And obviously, most of the viewers will know this young man for playing for the England cricket team, very successful as well. So what I want to do, Adil, is first of all talk to you about your childhood, brother. Tell me, what was it like growing up in Bradford?
It was exciting. It was fun in the sense of I was quite fortunate as a young kid, like especially in the community we live in. It was quite easy for us to go down to the local park, to go down to a sports centre where we can just go there, play a bit of cricket with tennis ball, tape ball, cricket. Because around our area, the community is very glued together, and it was in that sense I was very fortunate to just play on the streets, let's say. In cricket, and that's when I, like I said, started playing cricket, fell in love with the game, and it was obviously then as well when I was a young kid was when my father actually brought me through and took me to cricket games, took me to the park and actually taught me how to, like I said, ball and bat. So it all started off as a young kid in Bradford.
Now I actually know a couple of your family members very well. So cricket was already started in the family, I think, because you've got an older brother, Haroon. And I was blessed enough to play with both of your brothers in the Bradford League, playing for Hanging Heaton. So Haroon Rashid and Amar Rashid, both your brothers, both fine cricketers in their own right. Haroon, a top batsman, somebody that, watching him play sometimes, I think he could have went further in his cricket potentially. Yeah. And then your brother, Amar, is also a leg spinner who does bats well as well. What was it like having two brothers alongside you to kind of play with all the time?
Like I said, I was fortunate to have them brothers. Like I say, one was 2 years older than me, one was 3 years older than me. So we were all like in that similar age range where we could actually go down together to the local park and play cricket together, learn from each other. We grew up together, so they knew what was my strength. They knew what I'm capable of doing, what we're looking at, what I need to work on. So in that sense, having big brothers to work on my game, but also, like I say, whatever advice they give me, I would listen to because they know what is best for me. They know my game. So I was fortunate, like I said, to always be around them, to play with them, to communicate, to be friends with them and everything. So in the sense of having brothers there with me, I was blessed and fortunate to do
that. Yeah. I played obviously with your brothers. What I liked about your brothers was, and I can see from what you're saying there is, they didn't blow your trumpet too much. They were I would always be like, I see Adil done this or Adil done that last week, and they were like, yeah, he just needs to keep going. He just needs to keep going. And I think that's important because sometimes I've seen some families, and they talk their kids or their up a little bit too much, and that can be a downfall. But I always found your brothers were very about keeping your feet on the ground.
Yeah, that was massively important, because probably through experience or through what they're seeing and when how people have come through the professional setup, whether it's in different sports, they can so easily just go off the rail, just by as soon as they get a bit of fame, a bit of good performance, a bit of money comes their way, all of a sudden, they must have seen some kind of people, make a U-turn, go off the rail, and they really get to them. So in that sense, I've been brought up. Look, my dad brought me well in the sense of making sure that you stay grounded, you stay humble, you appreciate everything you got, everything you did. Don't really go out there and start boasting and start being too outwards in that sense. So I was taught from a young age to actually be, quite humble in the sense of, whatever happens, you appreciate and don't let it go. Don't let it get into your head. So from a young age, that's what it's been, and it's not just myself, but also within the brothers as well. So that's why maybe they were like how they were.
Yeah, and I'll move on from this, but just, I had the pleasure one day of Haroon and Amar took me down to your father's restaurant in Bradford. Unfortunately, I think you were busy, you were away on tour or something, as tends to be the case with you. But I met your father, and everything that you're saying to me, I can vouch for it. That I can see where it's all come from, because your father was very, very humble, very much about, very welcoming to me when I came there. But again, not acting very big shot like some fathers can be. If they have a son like Adil Rashid, who's all of the TV and everything, might get a bit carried away with it. But he was just humble. So I give my salam to all your family and your brothers while we're on screen. I hope they're all doing well. I had a great time playing with them. So where did you? What was kind of first clubs and stuff? When did you start when did it start realizing that, right, I've got something here?
My first club when I first started actually playing, probably the age of 8 or 9, in terms of into club cricket, local club cricket, my local ground. But it was probably the age of 11 when I broke through the Yorkshire setup. Okay. So I broke into the Yorkshire setup at age of 11. So through Yorkshire age 11, through all the way to 17s. Okay. But when you first start playing any age group as a young kid, whether it's club cricket or you break through the county system at young age 11, you don't really think of it then as, yes, I'm gonna one day become a professional, whatever it is. Because when you first initially play, you're playing just to enjoy the game. You really love the game. You enjoy playing cricket. You enjoy bowling. You enjoy batting, being with your friends, and enjoy winning or whatever it is. So that was what it is first. But then as time goes on, as you play a higher level, as you get older, that's when your dreams, ambitions start coming to reality. Mm-hmm. So at that age, 11, 12, 13, 14, I wasn't really thinking about any professional cricket. It was just cricket's coming here. Yes, I'm playing for Yorkshire 11s, 12s, England 13s, 15s. It was just all a thing of embracing it, enjoying my cricket, and let's see where it takes me. Mm-hmm. And then once you get to that age of 16, 17, 18, that's when you start thinking about, oh, I can actually, I'm close to becoming a professional cricketer, or I'm close here. This could be a dream of mine, playing for Yorkshire, or one day play for England. Mm-hmm. That dream comes later on in life, when you get to that age, when you get closer to the time. But when I first, like you say, started off at that age of 9, 10, 11, 12, there was nothing serious about that. It was just going along with it, playing for this club, playing for a higher level through the age groups, and then as time goes on, that's when you start take things seriously.
And just to confirm, from a young age, were you already turning the arm over? Were you ready? Was leg spin the first art? Some kids start trying to bowl fast in the beginning, and then they start finding spin. You must have had a good idol as well, I'd imagine. Looking at being from a Pakistani background, Adil. You had people like Mushtaq Ahmed and Shane Warne, obviously, to look up to, or were they factors?
I think, like, I started off at a young age, like I said, 8, 9. My dad got me into it at a very young age. He wasn't much of a cricketer himself in that sense, but we played club cricket here and there. Mm-hmm. But he knew a tiny, a bit about leg spin, or whatever he knew, he taught me.
Yeah.
So it was at age of 8, 9. It was always leg spin from day one. Always leg spin from day one. And like I said, these like Mushtaq Ahmed and Shane Warne, they didn't come into, like I say, my cricketing thing until a bit later on, when you hit 12, 13, 14, 15, whatever. That's when you start watching cricket. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, this is the bowler, Shane Warne, and this is Mushtaq, whatever it is, it's mm-hmm. then. But the initial stages, like I said, the ages of 8, 9, 10, 11 was purely my dad. So I would say, like I say, my dad was my idol in that stage, because he's the one that taught me how to bowl leg spin and do this, do that, googly or whatever it is. But as you go on in life, generally, coaches will come and they'll, you work with coaches, you work with this, you start looking at, players, you start watching cricket. That's when people like I say, Shane Warne starts coming in the mushy because you enjoy watching them at a later stage. But initially, like I said, the first period of my life, when I first started, like I said, it was my dad that did all the hard work and put
well
all
done,
his
Uncle. Well done. Congratulations to Uncle for unearthing the talent of your leg spin. At the age, you mentioned coaches and stuff. So at the age of 14, you got spotted by Terry Jenner. Now, while I'm on this, I had a friend that was with you at that point, another young leg spinner in Mani Iqbal, who played Durham at that point, good close friend of mine. So both of you were in I think Mark Lawson might have been involved as well.
Yeah,
all of you were kind of doing a bit of training with Terry Jenner. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so Terry Jenner was a very well-renowned, leg spin coach. Not just leg spin, I think spin bowling coach, because he was Shane Warne's coach as well, mentor and coach. So Shane Warne would go to Terry Jenner, a lot in terms of advice and action stuff, because Terry Jenner was the one that brought Shane Warne up in as his coach. So from us lot to go to Terry Jenner, getting advice from him, it was a big thing because he was the coach of Shane Warne, which was a massive thing. But it was like a camp that we used to go to. When Terry Jenner used to be there, there used to be maybe 5, 10, 15 leg spinners from the country. Go there for a little camp for a couple of days and showcasing our skills. And it was obviously good for all of us to get there because it's different kind of leg spinners there all stage at different times of their careers as well. But Terry Jenner, big massive credit goes to him as well, because he, like I said, showed me personally, like I say, a lot of, like I say, technical issues in terms of leg spin bowling. Like there's a lot of technical issues where you could do your feet placing, your arms, your head position, your bowling arm, your wrist. So all that, was the next phase of my cricketing journey, shall I say. The first phase was my father teaching me leg spin, just bowling and stuff. But then the next phase, you get a bit more technical about feet position and stuff. That's where Terry Jenner came in and, started talking a lot about the basics of leg spin bowling in terms of feet positioning, head, arm positioning. So when Terry Jenner came on board, it's a big change in my life as well. He helped me massively, and I'm sure he helped, like I said, Munib and Mark Lawson and the other spinners at that stage there as well. So that little camp did me wonders.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. That was awesome. I remember there was a big article done on it, and I remember seeing, it was great to see him involved. So 2005, brother, 15 years ago now, man, time flies. At the age of 17, you took you had an amazing couple of days. You took 6 for 13 for Yorkshire in an academy game. Do you remember that 6 for 13?
I'm trying to think.
I told you before we started today. Make sure you've had some coffee and all that. I'm going to
I think maybe, but that's a long time. 15 years ago. A lot of cricket has been played since then. But so that was, like you say, another big step in like I say, another step in the milestone as well.
Direction. A couple of days later, you smacked 111 against Cheshire. Is that so? Again, what I'm just highlighting is 17. Around 16, 17, that you started putting in performances that were not like small, getting 100. Any 16, 17-year-olds that start scoring 100s, that's a big message to say that I'm capable of doing this from a young age. 2006, big year for you, brother. You made your county debut. In particular, you replaced a certain Darren Lehman to make your debut against Warwickshire. And you ripped through Warwickshire with 6 for 67. Do you remember that performance?
Yeah, I remember that. How can I forget that? That was, like I say, my debut. Yeah. That's when, like I said, that's when the whole journey began in terms of professional. I got picked up as a, like I said, because Darren Lehman got injured then. The week before, I was playing second team cricket, and I put a few good performances in with a bat in terms of getting a few hundreds and stuff. And that's when Darren Lehman got injured, and they called me to replace him. So I was batting number 5 or 6. Didn't score many runs, but then I got the chance to bowl as well at that stage. That's when, like I said, things just took over. Just obviously, you don't think, you just go out there and just bowl, and then. But no,
do you remember any of the scalps? Do you remember any of the scalps you got in that game?
I remember getting Nick Knight out,
Nice.
Jonathan Trott. I can't remember Dougie Brown. I think it was
Dougie
Dougie Brown.
Brown.
Dougie Brown. So there's a few big scalps in there.
Yeah.
But that's when the journey really began for everything. It was then that debut. But like I say, how can I forget? How can anybody forget their debut in that sense? You know,
And
so it's a big occasion.
who do you remember? Which kid? So that, if it was around the time of Darren Lehman, did you play with Gavin Hamilton? Or was he?
I think no, he wasn't. He wasn't at Yorkshire at that time. I think he might have been somewhere else at that time.
So who was it? What was the Yorkshire kind of main core
Like
players?
Myself, there was Craig White.
Yeah.
Jason Gillespie was there.
Yeah.
Darren Goff.
Yeah.
Matthew Hoggard.
Yeah.
Michael Vaughan.
Nice.
So there was a big bunch of, you know.
Did you feel that were you welcomed into the changing room? Were you must have been nervous, you know, coming in?
No, I felt welcome. I felt welcomed, but you know, it was a complete different atmosphere. You know, as soon as you go there, making your debut, championship debut. Plus, this was at Scarborough, you see, as well. At Scarborough, you get, because we play 1-2 games a year there. And the crowd generally are quite full. For a championship game, you get 4,000 or 5,000 people in a small ground, which is a lot of people. So it was just the whole atmosphere, the whole actually environment, the whole atmosphere was just the overall thing. Something that obviously I was not used to at all. But you know, I didn't really think of it too much that way. You know, it was just, for me, it was right. Okay, go there, try perform my best I can. It was simple as that. Go there and I'm in a ball. Try to do my skills, leg spin, googly slide, or whatever it was, and let's see where it takes me. And that's what happened. And by the time I knew it, I had a sixth and that's where everything started for me, really.
No, listen, what a debut! What a debut that is. Also, that same year, you went on to play in youth test matches. You played England under-19s against India under-19s, and in particular, in the second test you played, you scored 114 in the first innings. You scored 48 in the second innings, and you also took 8 for 157. Talk about announcing yourself in international cricket and letting people know who Adil Rashid is. Again, that must have been a massive moment for you in your career.
Yeah, that was massive. You know, England under-19s against India. So this was obviously a big step above the international stage. But you know, there was still big players playing them. You know, in our team we had myself, Moin Ali was at that stage. Me and Moin were good friends. Varun Chopra. There was a lot of big players, and in the opposition, they had, you know, that Virat Kohli playing in the opposition. So that's a big name.
Yeah.
And you know, that was another, like I said, another big step for me. You know, playing like a under-19s test match against India. And you know, like I say, getting an 8 for getting 100 as well. That's, like you say, that's something as an all-rounder is almost, like you say, the dream game. You get 100, you want to get a 5 for. That's something like a dream game you would want, and that's something that just happened on the day. And but like I say again, that was a big moment.
Phenomenal. Well, I mean, 2006. I think looking at your career stats and stuff was a year that you really announced yourself as somebody serious to watch with performances, because at that point you're going to get judged on England under-19s and stuff like that because you're just making your way in. So for you to do that must really have got people looking like this kid's one to watch. 2007, that then meant that you got Young Player of the Year. Very, very proud moment. Very proud moment for the family. Do you remember that? Do you remember getting that award?
I think it was the PCA, wasn't it? Was it PCA?
Yeah.
So I remember actually getting that award. Yeah, because I went down with my father then down to the awards. So that was obviously a big thing. You know, winning. Did
you wear a nice suit for that occasion?
I'm sure it was a tuxedo. We had to wear black tie. I'm sure it was black tie and stuff. So, like I said, that's a massive moment. You know, winning that award. You know, showed that obviously all that hard work that I've put in the previous 2 years, you know, showed something for it in the sense of, you know, winning Young Player of the Year. And that was, like I said, you know, I'm sure a big moment in my career, but also that's my father as well. You know, he would be proud that, okay, my son, you know, from a young age has come all this way through the setup now, you know, Young Player of the Year type of thing. So it was, like I say, a big moment, and, you know, I'm sure he'd be proud as well.
No, brilliant. I'm sure all your family were proud. You might even have got a well done from your brother Haroon, which is something difficult to get out of Haroon from my time playing with him. So you then went on 2008. Again, things things kept going for you. There was, your career just keeps momentum going. You had a Lions tour with the England team to India. What's your memories of that tour?
I remember, I think there was I think we played in a little competition there. I forgot the trophy name.
Okay.
It was basically their red ball competition.
Ranji Trophy, is it, or something? Ranji.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. Yeah.
It was the red ball. We played there for, I think, 4 or 5 games. So I remember that, just being part in that, because there were people, in our team, there were people like Michael Carberry, there was Robert Key, Moin Ali, Joe Denley. So it was the likes of these players that were there at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I remember that vaguely, like going there and just playing in that competition. Like I said, that was another step in the like I say, in my career, achieving what I want to achieve. So it was something, like I say, I remember, but not. It wasn't. I wouldn't say that was one of my, like I say, a big moment in my career. It was another step that you have to take.
Another step. Was that your first time going to India?
Yes, that was the first time.
How did you enjoy that, Jay? How was it it was quite a tough place to go and bowl spin?
Yeah, it's a tough place to go play cricket, India, because Indians are very good at playing spin bowling as well. They play, every day, every night. So it was tough in that sense, but obviously it was a great experience going to India and just really, cherishing the whole experience of India and playing cricket, the whole atmosphere. So, it was a good experience, that.
No, nice. You came back, you had another big performance in your career. You took a 7 for 107 B's Hampshire. And this was around the time where there was a little bit of criticism coming your way that your bowling was slipping a little bit and your batting was better. Don't know if you remember that, but I just read something, and you certainly silenced the doubters. You remember that 7 for against Hampshire?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that 7 for. That was my probably best bowling figure, I think, in county championship. So that I remember. It was at Hampshire, like I say. It might be, like you say, a couple of games before that. I may not have good performances with the ball.
Yeah.
That's why, like I say, that's where all the questions started coming, and his bowling slipping up. But you got to understand as well, that's part and parcel of cricket, or of any sport. You go through ups and downs. Performances come and go. Good form comes and goes. So that was irrelevant to me in that sense. Because nobody will go through a career or any season generally, at their peak performance every time. Mm-hmm. So, at that stage, it didn't really bother me just to even think about critics saying, "Oh, his ball is slipping up." So I was just concentrating on doing my own skills, and just like I say, it happened by chance. I got 7 for, so that was it was nice to actually get that 7 for, just to silence the critics in the cricket pundit in that sense. So it was a good time, that.
No, very good. National team tour to West Indies after that. You didn't play much, but to go on your first national team tour, again, this shows the progression in your career, that you were just putting the blocks in place steadily, under 19s, Lions tour, now your first national tour. Talk to me about that experience.
As a big experience, that's the whole dream of any cricketer, is to represent England at any level, whether it's any competition, whether it's red ball, white ball, T20, or whatever it is. But I was, like I say, fortunate to go on a tour to West Indies in 2009. I remember that because there was some big names in that tour: Flintoff, Peterson, Broad, Anderson, Swan, Pryor, Trott. So the Cook, I probably missed quite a few. Monty Panesar as well. He was there, left as spinner. So for me to go into that at the age of 21, I reckon I was. That I was really, like, it felt like a big moment, like a big step going forward, because you're almost thinking, right, this is the highest level now you're representing, or you're part of the squad at highest level. This is what it is for. So I remember even just generally playing warm-up games, I felt a lot of pressure, not like pressure in the sense of most of the big players all around me here. How am I going to go? How am I going to cope as a youngster? What am I thinking when I'm playing with the likes of Flintoff and Peterson and all? Just that was going through my mind and that stuff. So in that way, it really got to me, and it potentially, even I played one couple of warm-up games there. I think it probably did affect me in the sense of my own performances, how I perform. You know, get nervous, you get like this, or it's the, you know, you're playing with big players, you know, it's the whole atmosphere, what they're going to think, how you're going to perform. So all that was, you know, in my mind as well at that stage. I was only young. I didn't really know much about just how to cope with it, how to deal with that kind of situation and that kind of pressure. Even though, yeah, bearing in mind, this wasn't actually going into a test match. It wasn't like me making my debut. It was just actually.
I get what you're meaning. When you're looking at mid-off and Flintoff standing there and Peterson's it, and you're thinking, I don't want to make myself look stupid here. That will just maybe make you not perform to the best you can. And another thing is leg spin deal. Hardest skill in cricket, I think, to do. If you're, I mean, I'm a top order batsman, left-hander. On a nervous day, your hands can get a wee bit nervous. You know, you need to get yourself going, but it's not too bad. But with leg spin, if you've got a little bit of tension in your hand or something, it's very hard to get the ball out.
It's very difficult, and I've gone through that many times. You know, you go through that throughout your career, but at that particular time in 2009, when everything really was started to kick off properly in terms of going to international tours with England, that's when that kind of pressure and that kind of feeling got to me a lot more, because I wasn't used to it. There's a lot of nerves about, you know, once you get that tension, you can't really ball properly. So probably even in the nets or even generally in the warm-up games, I didn't ball as I wanted to ball. You know, there was a lot of, like you say, hands were getting stiff, wrists were getting stiff, but a lot of sweat going around. So like I said, nerves and anxiety, you know, getting anxious in that way. So, but like I say, then I didn't even represent, I didn't even play a test match. So it wasn't like me, oh, I'm making my debut. Then fair enough, you might understand it if I was making my debut and I was getting nervous. But this is prior to that, just like a practice game stuff. There was a lot of nerves in that sense as well. But like I said, that's part and parcel of it.
What were the guys like though? What was you named two big guys in particular there, Freddie Flintoff, Kevin Peterson, two not just cricket stars but worldwide famous celebrities almost. What were they like with you? They both, you know, from my point of view, Flintoff strikes me as a great guy, but Kevin Peterson strikes me as a great guy as well. I think maybe misunderstood. What's your opinion?
No, they're both great guys in their own right. You know, fortunately for me, I got along with them both, you know, a lot. You know, I was close to Freddie, especially in the West Indies tour. I remember him really taking me under his wing type of thing. You know, really looked after me on the pitch, off the pitch. So me and him became good friends in that sense. You know, really looked after me. So a lot of credit goes to him. Him and Steve Harmison, who was at that time as well, really, you know, looked after me well and really, you know, like you said, like a little brother type of thing. They looked like that, and we used to spend a lot of time together. You know, so a big thank you goes out to him for that. And also KP as well, in his own right, he's a top guy. You know, me and him got along well. You know, we've had some good times on and off the pitch as well. So, you know, so like I said, when I came into the England squad at that stage, I felt welcome. You know, with the boys that, you know, really welcomed me in, and I got along with everybody. But it was just more so how I felt. You know, being surrounded by such like big superstars.
Yeah. So then you came back from there. You actually then replaced the injured Freddie Flintoff. No pressure on anything. The deal. You get the phone call. Listen, Big Freddie's injured. You're coming in for the 2009 T20 World Cup in England. Now, again, I remember watching that World Cup. You were a very young boy, very inexperienced. You took 3 wickets in the tournament. Watching on, it looked like you were just finding your feet at that point in international cricket. Tell me about your experience of that.
Like that, this is probably the biggest thing in my career up to date. It's a massive thing. Playing a World Cup, T20 World Cup in England. Yeah. You know, it was a big moment for myself. Nervous. The whole world's watching. You know, how am I going to cope? How am I going to do? All these questions start kicking in because at a young age, that's all I knew, that type of thing. You know, I didn't really experience the other stuff. So there was a lot of, it was excitement. There's a lot of nerves, a lot of, oh my God, how am I going to cope? What am I going to do here? I hope it goes well. A lot of doubts start creeping into my mind, into my game. To be fair, in that tournament, I didn't bowl. I actually bowled quite well in the sense, okay, I can only play 4 games anyway, 4 or 5 games, I can't remember. But I actually felt as though I bowled quite well, but I didn't just get the wickets I wanted. But that can happen. But that was definitely the first taste of like, right, this is international cricket. This is probably the biggest stage going around. You know, I felt as though I coped quite well there. Yeah. But you know,
No, I wasn't saying you didn't, but I just what
no,
you went on to do in other World Cups
yeah,
compared to that one, you were just finding you were kind
yeah,
of you got to kind of get into it a little bit, and the wickets maybe didn't flow, but you contained and you put in a good
yeah,
performance. But what I know of Adil Rashid now is you can take 3-4 wickets in a game and you can change the match.
yeah.
That probably didn't happen in that World Cup.
No, that didn't happen. Plus, also, I was a different kind of baller then. You know, I didn't have a role. I didn't know what my role was in the team then. It was, there was a lot of confusion in my head of what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
What's my role? How do they see me? What do the coach sees me as? Well, the captain. Because these questions I didn't really ask at that stage because, like I said, I was probably new, came in as a youngster and I didn't really know much. I just came and just trying to perform my best.
Yeah.
But if I had to go back and play that again, I would definitely ask that, especially because you gain experience once you play a lot more. You gain experience. You're bowling a lot more. This. So when I played that World Cup, it was just myself trying my best to bowl. There was nothing else to it. There was no, like I say, what's my role? What I'm doing? What the captain thinks of me? What do players think of me in that sense of how it is now? Now now it's completely different.
Now you take to the field for England. You know what your job is. You know what you're there to do. You know what others expect of you. Then it was just, I want to show what I can do, but I don't really know the best way to go about it. But I'll just do what I always do and try to bowl and do my best. Whereas now you're obviously a seasoned campaigner. It was just early days. You finished that World Cup and you again. Now this is something I want the viewers to be aware, because I think people maybe don't know enough about this. Is how good a batsman you were, or you are, because you scored 117 for Hampshire in a game, and then you followed that game up with 157 against Lancashire, and you took 5 for 97 in that match. I mean, these are serious performances. You don't get to do. I mean, most players don't get to put in performances like that in championship games. So talk to me about. I mean, your batting is a serious art in your game. Is it still? You still think your batting is valued?
I really took pride in stuff because from a young age, from age of 11 till what age am I going up till 25? I'll say 26. I remember from age of 11, I was batting number 3. So for Yorkshire under 11s, number 3. For England under 15s, number 3. England 19s, I used to bat number 3. When it came to Yorkshire first team, I dropped down to 5-6. That's when I stuck to that number 5-6 as an all-rounder spot. So, I took a lot of pride in my batting and it really was part of my game then, growing up. If I didn't perform with the ball, I had the bat, ball, vice versa. So it was equal for me at that stage in my career, from 11 to 25 till 2012 for Yorkshire. Till 2013-14, it was all equal for me. But as time goes on, my roles changed. Played for England recently, like 5 years ago. Then people start coming into the system. They're dropping that position. So I drop in further down. Then you start batting 9, 10, 11. You don't really get much batting practice, batting time in the game. You can lose your batting, so and don't really feel as confident as you do when you used to play. So definitely, I feel as though, like I say, my batting has gone on a downward slope. But then I look at the positive side, because then my bowling has gone on the upward slope. So I can't complain. It is what it is. I wouldn't go back and do anything different. What I can do now is actually going forward is really start to really love my batting again. Sometimes it can be a bit difficult, when you play for England, you're batting number 9, 10, 11. You get a bit down, thinking, not really needed here. So you don't really work on your batting as much because you don't get game time. So all that comes into it, and it can affect your game. It can affect your batting, and it has done over the years. It's affected my batting because I don't really get to bat much and stuff. And when you do, you only face a couple of balls at the end of the innings, and so on. So, but so over the years, I would say my batting has definitely gone like down in the sense of performances.
I mean, you still had there's still some things I'm going to talk about with your batting. So it's not like your batting stopped at that point. So we went on ODI debut, 27th of August 2009, v the Irish against Ireland. Must remember that quite well.
I do remember that because I remember it was a rain game. So we had like I think I can't remember how many overs it was, maybe 15, 17 overs a side.
Mhm.
So it was a different, like I say, debut. Uh, like I say, we're looking forward to playing the full 50 overs, but
Yeah.
got reduced to I think like I say 17 overs a side. There's a couple of us making a debut at the same time, I reckon, as well. Myself, was it Morgan or was it Denley? I can't remember. I think there was some of us all making at the same time. So, like I said, that was a massive step as well. Making your debut against any side. But that was a big step for me, and like I said, that's something I would remember. That's because that's when it started as well.
Back to play against the Aussies, which is and you put in a serious performance. I remember this very well because the following day I was playing a club game with your brothers. So this is something that stuck in my memory. Also, I played against the Australians a couple of days before that, before they started the England series, and my memory was not so good. Brett Lee almost killed me. Mitchell Johnson hit me. Mitchell Johnson hit me in the arm. You had a bit of a better experience. You bowled 10 overs for 37 runs. That was a serious bowling performance. How talk to me about that memory.
Yeah, I remember that quite clearly actually, because that was like my first proper one-day international. Because the day before it was rain reduced. It was yes my debut, but it didn't feel like that. But when I played against Aussies, that was like a big step, big challenge. Now, right, playing Australia, the best ODI team in the world at that stage. How am I going to cope? Come on, like that kind of thing. How I was going to cope, but I remember that as well because I had a little bit of a game plan of what I'm going to do, how am I going to ball, how am I going to go about it, and then I tried to execute that. And like I said, 10 over.
What was your game plan? You can tell us now.
I was trying to keep it as simple as possible, really, just getting the batsman coming forward and making him drive. At that stage, and that's what I did. And as a result, like I said, got 10 overs, 37. Didn't get any wickets, but I kept it tight.
Yeah.
So that was like a thing of, oh yes, I've done this, so I feel quite confident that what, I could do this again.
Yeah.
It's not, there's potential I can do this again. So because I experienced that, I taste what international cricket was like. I thought, oh, okay, I can deal with that here. This is not too bad actually. Playing against the best in the world and bowling to Ponting or Clark or whoever it is, and I thought, this is okay.
I can hold my own here. I can.
Yeah, I can hold my own.
I don't need to be in fear of these people. I can play against them.
And that's what it was. So when I made that debut, it felt quite good. I was like, yeah, I did okay, yeah.
And then just on the batting front that we were talking about, you then came out and you made a quick fire. I remember it well. You hit some lovely shots off Lee. You scored 31 not out, quite quick fire. You were playing the ball through the covers. You hit a few through the covers, really nice. How did that feel to get the ball on the bat and show that you could do it at that level as well? So you basically proved in that game that you can do it with both ball and bat.
Yeah, so that, like you said, the situation of the game, like we needed 60, 70 to win off 40, 50 balls with 3 wickets left or whatever it was. So for me at that stage, it was just to make sure, right, look to hit the ball, whether I'm practicing, try to do the same skills. So, like I say, fortunate for me, I was practicing a few shots probably in the nets before, the couple of days before. And that's when Brett Lee, like I said, I was hitting for a couple of fours, maybe through the covers, outside off it, through extra cover, a few flicks here and there. So it was nice for me to actually go out there and just to contribute into almost winning that as well, because we only 3-4 runs short.
Yeah, it was a great game.
Yeah, 3-4 runs short. So like I say, for me to get them runs, it actually, mainly to show England in terms of what our side is, to show them that yes, he can bat and he's got, he's capable of actually finishing a game and also winning it for us. So it was nice to get that as well.
2010, left out of the England team, and you decided that, right, okay, dust yourself off, got on a plane, walked over to Australia to play for South Australia, where you performed remarkably well. You took 10 wickets in the tournament and you finished just behind Nathan Lyon and Pat Cummins. Do you remember that? And how did you feel when you were left out of the England team?
I didn't really think much of it then, in that sense. I thought of it as like, right, it's going to be hard to get back into it. But I didn't really think of it of, right, crap, I had to make sure I get back in the England team. I've got to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this, I need to do this. It was a more of a thing, right, it is what it is. I played for England. I represented England. You know, it's probably done now. So that was my mindset. It's probably done now. You know, I played for England. Done now. So let's just, it is what it is. Let's move on and take it from there.
Yeah.
And that's exactly. I remember at Big Bash. Went to Big Bash 2011. Yeah. Myself and Pollard were the overseas players. Then came and Pollard from West Indies. Yeah. So that was a big moment. I was, like I said, I was young, going into a competition that was big as an overseas player. You know, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to do about, you know, I knew there was going to be a lot of pressure on me in that sense, because as an overseas player, you know, you got to go there and perform.
Yeah.
But it turned out to be, like you say, a really good tournament for myself, but also for the team. We won the league, won the tournament then as well. And for me to contribute to that, to getting, you know, second leading wicket taker of the tournament, you know, I felt as though, you know what, I can do this. You know, I can be a part of teams here. People, you know, value me in the sense of you're an overseas player and you perform well. So it was that was a big moment for me in my career, not international wise, just striving to that, but also just in the domestic terms of things. You know,
sounds like it was quite a maturing time for you. Probably put you on to, you know, you're seen as the man, one of the two men that are expected. Not hoping, you're expected. I know if overseas players, it's like when you get signed for a club on a Saturday as a kind of paid player or something, and you turn up to play. They expect you to perform as the same thing at that level. They're not expecting you to just come over. Hey, don't worry about it. Adil, bounce back next game. They want it from the start.
Yeah, that's what it is. You know, sometimes it can be quite tricky as well. You know, when you go as an overseas player, you know, sometimes people expect you to make sure, you know, because they're seeing so much, they expect you to do well. And, you know, so that puts a lot more extra pressure on you. But sometimes when you go as an overseas player, as somebody new, and they're not seeing you before, then you put that expectation on yourself. You know, sometimes you put too much pressure on yourselves because, you know, what they're thinking of me, you know, I need to perform. You know, but when you look in their eyes, they're just thinking, oh, he's maybe his first tour as an overseas player, so we don't really expect too much from him.
Yeah, give him a chance to get going.
But on yourself, you're putting too much pressure. So, and that can be your downfall as a player as well. You know, you could be a downfall putting too much pressure on yourself. But I was lucky in the sense that through that tournament, probably by the first game, I remember the first game well, but I probably put too much pressure on myself the first game. Bought a couple of overs, didn't get any wickets. Didn't do well, and that's when you go back to your hotel. You think, oh my God, this could be a long tournament. Because your first game gone thinking what they thought of me.
It'd be a pretty lonely place as well, I'd imagine. Everyone's probably thinks internet, you know, being away on tour. It's all this. When you go back to that hotel room, it's just you, and you've had a tough day at the office. You know, it's mental then, isn't it, more than anything else?
It is mentally. So, like I said, after the first game, you have these doubts, thinking, oh my God, this is going to be a long tournament. What do they think of me? Oh my God, I must not be good enough. They must think I'm not a good bowler, this and that. You start doubting up until you play your next game. So that could be another 3-4 days. So then them 3-4 days can be a lonely place then, because you're always thinking about my performance. How am I going to do this? What they think of me? Oh my God, I need to make sure I perform. All these questions and doubts start kicking in. You know, because at that time, like I said, I was fairly young as well, 21, 22, that age where...
Away from home as well, a long way away from home. You can't just pop in and see your dad or see your brother or something. You're alone.
So all these come into it. You know, all this comes into it, you know, and that's what it was for me back then, really, just generally in like I said, in playing that tournament, Big Bash. It was like that. After the first game, was all them doubts creeping in. You know, getting a bit upset or getting a bit down in the hotel, and then that will drag on maybe for a couple of days up until you play the next game. But like I said, I was fortunate enough, as soon as the next game came, I got 3 for ball well. But as soon as that happened, it felt everything completely changed. The whole atmosphere changed, and it felt like
everyone's loving you. You're getting a couple of pats in the back.
Yeah, so once that happened, it was like, oh, I feel a bit more relaxed and chilled. And after that, I just took over, and my performances were good, and I was relaxed, and I felt comfortable around the team. You know, I felt welcomed and stuff. So, you know, so that was a big, like I said, big step in my career. That.
No, big moment. You obviously finished third in the wicket tallies, as I mentioned. So, very successful tournament. Now, something I'm big on in these interviews is I love to take you through memory lane and talk to you about all the highs in your career. But this next one I'm going to talk to you about is a bit of a low point in your career. You might remember it well. I'm sure you put it out the back of your mind. But you bowled what I would probably say is probably your worst spell in cricket at that point. You took no wickets for 187 against Sussex. Do you remember that spell? And what was that? Just the flattest wicket in the world, or what happened that day? Do you remember it?
I think that was 2011.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But I remember it like vaguely. I remember it, but not properly. But that at that period of time, I'll take it through now from period 2011 season, 2012 season. Then 2 seasons were probably, in terms of my cricket, were probably my worst 2 seasons.
Well, just while you're on it, I'll let you keep going. But Jeffrey Boycott had a dig at you as well. He said you kind of stagnate. Now we all know, but Jeffrey likes to have a dig. Jeffrey Boycott likes to have a dig when he likes to tell you straight. But I think what he said was you haven't improved. You just kind of stayed where you were, and so you've been up. So, but continue on there. 2 years there of your career.
So 2011-12 were the 2 years of my career where it was a big dip in batting, bowling. You know, in the sense of cricket, I was didn't know what to do. I was searching for my game. As you know, as probably a sportsman generally, you know, you go through these experiences or whatever. But them 2 years were really a big down for me. Them 2 years, you know, I felt a bit like a lonely place. Felt a bit upset, questioning about my cricketing skills, my cricketing abilities. And my performances were great. I was in and out the side, Yorkshire side, nowhere near England, in and out Yorkshire side. Thinking, right, am I even going to get another contract with Yorkshire here, you know, the previous years? And that's when, like you say, you had the critics, people like Jeffrey Boycott and other people saying, yep, he's not good enough, he's done, he's finished. You know, players, even maybe players, like, you know, how they talk amongst themselves, yeah, he's done now, he's finished, and all this stuff. Yeah. And, you know, at that stage, you know, you believe it, and you start thinking, yeah, this is, you know what, you know, I can't do this much longer. When am I going to get better? Am I going to improve? When am I going to, you know, become a regular back in the team? So all these questions were coming these 2 years. And it was a tough 2 years for me. And these 2 years, like I say, made me after that. So like I say, if it wasn't for them 2 years, I wouldn't be where I am today, because them 2 years changed me, not just as a person in terms of cricket, but as a person as well in terms of just general life.
Well, just something I want to touch on, brother. At that point, just prior to that, you were a lovely little clean shaven. Where, you know, you always looked about, every time I've seen you, you always looked about, you know, 15 years old, you know, and mashallah, you decided to grow this lovely beard that you have looking at today. Was around this time? Now, obviously, you're born a Muslim, Adil, so, you know, you were brought up a Muslim. But was it around this point that you properly, I know I've been born a Muslim, for instance, but only in recent times, if I'm honest, probably more recent than what yours has been, have I turned properly to my Islam, and, you know, praying 5 times a day, you know, paying my sadaqah, doing everything I can to be a good Muslim. Was it around this time when you say you had to find yourself that you really turned to your religion?
Massive. This was the time. It was not because of cricket. You know, it wasn't I have to turn my life because of cricket. It was my time of life just because of how the whole situation was. Yeah. So it was back in 2012. I remember, like, just generally, you know, questioning myself, you know, like just the thoughts of what am I meant to be doing? What, you know, what is my purpose? So all these questions started really coming in. And that's where I actually met Sakle Mushtaq, because he came to Bradford that time, in the 12. He came to Bradford, just going around. I met him in the mosque because I went down just to pray. By chance, I met him there. And that's when it all kicked off, because we had a chat then. And, you know, the chat we had was just generally just on the topic of, you know, Islam and you know, what's your purpose and all the going into it, that kind of thing. And it really got me thinking of, right, you know, this is so true of what me and Saki was talking about here. You know, I need to sort myself out, not just for cricket. We're not talking cricket, we're just talking in general life, in my lifestyle. And that's what it was. It was at that moment, that's when, like I say, I made a U-turn in terms of life, trying to, you know, stay away from the wrong things, trying to go.
The shisha cafes too much, and the restaurants and the social scene with your mates, I'd imagine, and you put more energy into your salah and
yeah, but that's not just, like you say. I'm probably speaking not just for myself. I'm speaking probably for majority of Muslims generally, they will always go through that path where, you know, maybe things are not going well. You know, your life is not going so well in terms of just generally maybe not praying as much, you know, you're not on it as much to, right, I need to make a U-turn in my life, and then, you know, off we go. So that's why it was there for me as well. So like I said, I made that U-turn back in 2012. And that was, like you said, the game changer for me. You know, my life completely changed from there. You know, I made a U-turn, getting closer to my religion, getting to know my religion a bit more. But as a result of that, just by doing that, my whole mindset changed in terms of cricket. My whole attitude towards cricket completely changed. It was more so then, right? It was more so then, right, thinking, right, I'll train hard, I'll work hard, I'll do whatever, but I'll leave it in God's hands. That kind of thinking, you know, whereas before, prior to that, there was not that thinking. I didn't have that thinking, you know, there was not that thinking, or I had a bad day. It was always questioning myself, and there wasn't that thinking of, right, I'll work hard, I'll train hard, I'll try to perform my best, but it is what it is, it's up to God. So that thinking wasn't there prior to 2012. After 2012, that's when I started thinking like that. Right? I'll try my best, put my, you know, effort in terms of training, whatever I do. And the game, I'll try my best, but what it is, it's up to God. So religion, like I said, played a massive part in where I am today, played a massive part in me becoming who I am today in terms of cricket as well.
No, mashallah. It's great to hear you, listen to you, because I obviously was watching from the outside. It wasn't just yourself. I've obviously watched on closely and watched the career of Moeen Ali as well, who both of you have, you know, transitioned and changed. I mean, again, born Muslims, but the beards and the noor in your face and everything, as you know, you boys look like, and your careers have gone to great heights. So you're a fantastic role model from that point of view for all as Muslims, young kids coming through. So, you know, I commend you for that, mashallah. It's amazing to see. So, okay, you went through a couple of tough years. You managed to find yourself in your personal life. You managed to get closer to your deen. And in 2015, you were named back into the test squad to go to the West Indies. Unfortunately, you didn't play much because Treadwell was preferred over you, but at least you were back in the frame.
Yeah, so like you said, then, you know, that year, 2011-12, big, you know, drop in my career. Got back into 13-14. You know, at that stage, it was, you know, for myself, I never thought about, right, I can represent England again. There was never that thinking, I can represent England again, or my aim is to play for England again. It was a thing of it just happened because 2013-14, I put good performances in, and it just happened, like that kind of mindset. So, you know, like I say, when I got back into the system in 2015, that was a big thing for me. From 2012 to 15, a 2-3 year period where I wasn't almost gonna still be playing professional cricket, have a contract, to them 2 years getting back into the England self.
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of credit there. All the credit goes to my change in lifestyle, my religion, my mindset. All that changed then. Went into 2015 to West Indies. Didn't play, but like I say, it was nice to be part of the squad going to West Indies, knowing that, right,
I'd imagine you weren't annoyed of not playing. You were probably just happy to be back, probably because you've been through a couple of tough years in your career. So you were quite happy. I imagine Treadwell's quite a nice guy. Played ahead. He looks like quite a straight edge kind of guy. So you were just back in the changing room, back in the fold, ready to go on from there. And you certainly did go on from there. The game that really stands out for me was you played a game against the Kiwis, New Zealand, and you took part in a 177-run partnership with one of the main men for English cricket right now, Josh Butler, and you also scored your maiden ODI 50, and you went on in the bowling part of the performance to take 4 for 55, including a beautiful googly to remove probably up there with Steve Smith, Virat Kohli, and I would say Kane Williamson are the top three players for me in world cricket. I know some people would like to bring Joe Root into that. I would say Joe Root's just slightly behind those three guys just now. But Kane Williamson, big wicket. But what a performance by you. That must have, all those years of staying strong and your religion and everything and working hard, and then you put a performance like that, and that must have really said, right, I'm back.
No, definitely, because this, like I said, this was the first game back now. Remember at this stage as well, England, this was when we got everybody, like I said, there was a new brand of English cricket because we were gearing up for the 2019 World Cup. So at this stage as well, there was a new faces in there. Alex Hill, Jason Roy, Joe Root, Morgan, a skipper, myself. So basically it was the whole new group of bunch of lads. So when I went back in there, I felt quite fresh, like it felt good. I felt in a good place in the sense of the team-wise, young team, different. We're playing a different brand of cricket. So when I went in there, it gave me the confidence even before actually bowling and batting. That we're in it together here.
Yeah, it's a young family basically. We're all at early similar stages in our career. So this is exciting.
Yeah, it was really exciting. And then, like you say, performance-wise with the bat, a big massive partnership with Josh Butler. Like I said, 170 odd. That played a massive part as well, showing that I can bat again. We were in a tricky situation, but me and him got a big massive partnership together, 400 runs or something. Yeah. That was, like I said, massive thing for me. And then bowling, that was the main key. That was the main thing. Batting was the bonus then, but the main thing was the bowling. Early, my first couple of overs, I know I started off nicely. Then once I got the wicket of Kane Williamson, that's when, I just came into my own a bit more, started on my leggies, Googly's got a fourfer. But once I got that fourfer and stuff, that's when things started to really click and think, this could be some, start of something special in terms of not just myself, but in terms of the team of how we want to play cricket, how we want to go about things. We're looking for attacking spinner, we're looking for attacking batsman, a fast bowler, all that bases, all that exciting stuff and new brand of cricket. So, for me, I felt like I was a part of that. Once I got that fourfer, I felt as though, I'm a big part of this already. They're looking at me as that kind of bowler that comes in, gets wickets in the middle overs where wickets are hard to come by. And for me, just to get that fourfer at that stage, that was a big moment for me in my career.
No, mashallah, top performance. You didn't play in the Ashes. You weren't included in the Ashes. However, you came into the ODI series, and again, things started motoring for you now. You put in a performance in the third ODI against Australia where you took 4 for 59, which was again a match-winning performance as a leg spinner to put in. How did you feel in that game?
Good, because very good actually, because that was a big step now. Australia coming over, playing a ODI series against them, best ODI team in the world. Playing against the best. So for me to get 4 for there, knowing that I can get people like Steve Smith and Warner and these people, that give me that confidence, knowing I can do this. If I can get them out, I can do well. I'm sure I'll do well against other teams as well. So it gives me that extra confidence, knowing that I can perform at the highest level against the best team in the world. So that was, like you say, another big step in the step.
Just to try and get into your mindset, when you're at the top of your run up and you get given the ball and you come on against an Australia and Steve Smith's batting at the other end, what's going through your head? Are you thinking, right, I just want to land a couple nicely to get going here, or am I looking to I don't want to go for any run? Or are you thinking straight away, I'm backing myself, I'm getting this guy?
See, that changed over years. Even 2015 till this very day, that's changed over years. 2015, my role in the team was different in terms of when I first come onto ball, you might want to be like, let me just land a few first. And the ball 1-2 overs quite tight here and there. Hopefully I don't go for many. Maybe, like I said, that may be the mindset and then get into my own. But like that has changed over the years. Like now it could be straight away from ball 1. My aim is trying to get him out. Bowling my variations straight away from ball 1, bowling a wrong gun, bowling a slider, leggy, bowling this, that. So that has come over the years of, for example, Morgs, for me getting, Morgs trusting me. That's come massive from that as my captain, having belief in me, having trust in me that, you can do as you please, because he has been my captain for 4 or 5 years. He knows what I'm capable of. He knows what I've been doing, what I can do, what I've achieved, all the stuff. So that's why it gives me the confidence as well to know that my captain's by my side. He's always backing me. He knows, right, he'll throw me the ball, be right, look, ball evasion, look to get the wicket, bang. So from ball 1, you got that confidence already. So even these 5 years, it's changed from series to series, year to year. Bowling has always developed in that sense, in the mind. And hopefully, inshallah, it'll keep developing that way. So, like I say, it depends. If I come to ball to Smith again, it could be right. If I'm, confident, it could be from ball 1, right? I know I've got him out before 5-6 times. What? I've got his number. So what am I doing here for ball 1? let's try get him wrong. And I know I've played against him before, so the field setting is this because he struggles to hit I'll just block it. So all that comes, like I say, again, with experience, with playing a lot more, playing against the best players in the world, play against them quite often as well. You know where you got them out before, you know their weaknesses, their strengths. And that's what it is. So, like I say, if I'm talking about Mark, all depends. But from like now, it's about being that real aggressive baller in terms of trying to get the wickets, trying to get the breakthroughs. You know, there's a partnership of 100 coming on right. My aim is to get the wicket. Because you got the backing of your skipper, you got the backing of your players, because they know what you've done, what you're capable of doing, and you know what you're going to do. And if it doesn't work, it's fine, because you know the skipper wants something for you, and he also knows that we're all human and we're all never going to perform every day. You know, cricket, you have more bad days than good days generally as well. So they accept that. They know that.
I was going to talk to you about it. We will touch on it obviously later. There's a big part of this this podcast at the end that I'm sure we'll talk about, which is obviously. But since you've touched on it, Owen Morgan. So I spent 6 months in an academy with Owen Morgan in South Africa when we were around the age of 21. Morgan's a couple of years younger than me. I also played a lot of junior cricket against him. Me being from Scotland, him being from Ireland, we played a lot of juniors against each other. And I remember being in that academy with Morgs, and he was a big team man. When I used to score runs, he was very, very happy for me. There was a game that I played with Morgs that I got a 70 to win the game, and Morgs was the first guy up, you know, behind me, you know, supporting me. You know, sometimes when you're two batters in the top order, there can be a wee bit of, I want to do. I don't like it when he does well. I want to do well, but he seems to have just taken to this captaincy like so comfortable with something, and he seems to have gelled. All like you were mentioning, it's a young family there, and Morgs has to be the one that is credited. You've mentioned a few times there how much he's managed you well. And obviously we'll go on to talk about what the finale has been when, you know, with his leadership. But you're talking, it's been him going in momentum for 5 years. He must be a big factor in your success.
Massively. You know, he's a great leader. People listen to him. I think his biggest attribute and biggest skill generally is that he always stays level as a captain. Yeah. That's a big thing that I found as well. The captains that generally I've played against with being captain me in the past have always generally tend to have these ups and downs in terms of facial expressions, in terms of on the pitch. You know, they show emotion and stuff, and that can really put you off as well. Yeah. And, you know, because if you're doing well, they're all happy. If you're not doing well, they can show that emotion just by their body language and their actions. You know, one of Morg's big attributes is, like I say, he's very level-headed. He's relaxed. He's grounded. Like I say, he's humble in that sense. And he's got a very, like I say, very clear vision and clear mind. You know, for me, like I said, it's like a privilege, or I feel like, you know, for him to be our, you know, captain leader, it would have been nobody else would be better to suit that role than him. Purely of how he handles things, how people listen to him, how he's got the respect of the people. Purely, like he says, with Evie, he's got that togetherness. He's brought that togetherness for us to all be one. And for me personally as well, like I say, he's been there. So like I said, if I came in the team in 2015 and he wasn't captain, it was somebody else, could have been a completely different ballgame, because that captain may have not, you know, showed me the same confidence that Morgs did. You know, as a result, that would have affected maybe my bowling a bit more. Maybe the captain had a bit more of a up and down, you know, emotion as well on the pitch, and that would affect not just myself, other players as well. Or captains look at him and he's throwing his hands around, he's doing this. So that's been a massive part from 2015, you know, to this very moment. Every time he's on the pitch, he's captain, you very rarely see any kind of emotion in that sense. It's always been that level.
Yeah, he's always, I've never seen him like arms waving at anybody, even if things are not going too well. He might be a wee bit angry inside or frustrated.
Yeah, but that's just natural.
He just has a very, very, like you say, poker face. And when he's dealing with the media and stuff as well, he always comes across very relaxed, you know, doesn't let his emotions boil over. And that's very important for a captain. So, you know, it's good to touch on that, and it's good to hear. And I think he'll be captain for many years to come yet. 2015, you've had all these great performances, but then a big moment came in 2015. It must have been a very proud moment for you as well, as you made your Test debut in October 2015 against, you know, where you originate from, which is obviously, like myself, Pakistan. You played against the Pakistani UAE. It didn't start too well. First innings, you bowled a set for 0 for 163. You were probably thinking, let me just get in a plane and get out of here. I don't want to bowl in these pitches.
That's what it was. It was that thinking, obviously exciting time, making Test debut, but also then playing against Pakistan.
Yeah.
Big thing, not just myself, but for family playing, Test cricket. Big moment for me. How am I going to cope? Because Pakistan have done so well in the UAE over a period of years. It's a tough challenge.
Yeah.
Like I said, the first innings didn't go as I expected. Not for 160 sorry. And that's, I was like, here's what it is. I'll try my best, but what can I do?
Yeah.
But actually, then things change. How things change very quickly. How things can change.
Things changed. You probably went home that night, sat in the hotel room, absolutely knackered from the heat and the thinking what. And then you came out and just imagine you went and prayed some prayers and did some dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help you. And in the second innings, 5 for 64. What a transition of what happened in the first innings. What a moment for you. What a moment for your family. Everybody.
Yeah, definitely. That's what it was. That it shows that how, for example, in sport as well, how things can change very quickly. So it's important just even by that, not to just generally get down if you have a bad performance. It's making sure you still have that belief and confidence, still have that backing of your own ability that you worked hard, you're still good enough. But a couple of bad performances, a bad form doesn't really mean that you're a bad player or whatever. So even that, when it was there, I wasn't really questioning myself. It was more of a thing of, right, it is what it is. I try my best. I'll come back again and try my best again. Came back, tried again. Like I said, I got 5 for and almost won the game from there as well. If it wasn't for the light, so
yeah,
that was a big step as well. Like I said, getting a Test 5 for on debut.
You went on as well in the second Test. You played. I remember. I actually was against you that day. Obviously, I wanted you to get out because I was supporting Pakistan in that match. But you played beautifully well to get a maiden half century, and you just kind of stuck in there. And it was like you were not moving. You fought. You stayed at the crease. And tough time. Do you remember that? Remember that knock well?
Yeah, I remember that knock well actually very well. That was a tough situation because I knew we had to play for the draw.
Yeah.
I had to keep batting as long as possible, and it was tough as well because it was spinning. The pitch was spinning quite a bit, and they were bowling well, and it was just like I said, one of those things we just didn't quite get over the line. But it was nice to myself just to let people know that I could still bat in that sense, to save a game. So we was close to doing that, but unfortunately we didn't quite do that. So
yeah, it was very. I mean, again, sorry to say this, bro, but I was hoping you were going to get out eventually. Or at least, being a fellow brother of mine, I was hoping that maybe somebody else was going to get out and you would stay not out. But I did want you. I was rooting for Pakistan in that match. But again, one thing that frustrated me about that series is that you and Moeen Ali seemed to get a lot of negative criticism back home. I mean, I was getting quite upset watching the daily highlights. It seemed to be that you were all the kind of attention was on you two, and that you two need to deliver more. But UAE against Pakistani batters like Yunus Khan and all these people, it's not easy to deliver. I can't imagine many other England bowlers would have been able to go there and do much. It's a tough place.
It's a tough place to play, but even that situation you were talking about, but myself and Moin, we didn't think anything of it. We were never thinking of what it is. We were just laughing, like almost laughing it off, smiling it off. What can you do?
Yeah.
You go there, you try your best. It's not meant to be. It's not meant to be. You try to get wickets, you get smashed, or you get wickets, or you don't. It's part and parcel of the game. It's not like we go out there and try not to perform on purpose or whatever it is. We go out there with proud, trying to try our best, but it is what it is. And people have the right, to say what they want. The media back home, or can say what they want. Or
so just on that, bro. Just on that, have you always managed to block that out? Have you never let that? I mean, I've never played at the level that you have played at. I've never been in the media attention like the way you and Moeen Ali, for instance, will have been. But you could do something amazing one match, and then the next minute you're the worst thing on the. This guy should be in the team. Have you learned to channel your energy and not let that affect you?
Yeah, definitely. That's the main thing. Is really dealing with that situation. We try not to actually let that get to my head or his head. We just really we don't really take note of what people say in that sense. The media, whatever they can say as they please. Like I said, they have the right to say to say what they want. And you know, some people, like you say, really gets to them. They really take it to it, really feel it. Some people don't. Some people don't really, you know, don't really get to them. So myself, I'm more at that stage, just generally in that stage. It didn't really get to us. We weren't on our Twitter or Instagram thinking, oh, what they said about us, or what's the news, what people saying about us. Because, you know, it was that mindset of, is what it is, who cares type of thing. You know, we're trying our best, and I don't care whoever anybody says, you know. We're trying our best.
It's
You
easy
can
to
say as
talk.
you please, you know.
Easy to talk from the couch. It's a lot harder to be out in the blazing heat in the middle of Abu Dhabi playing against some of the best batters in world cricket.
Yeah, like I said, it is what it is. People have their own, you know, minds can speak. Pundits out there, sports, you know, people who, you know, are with us, people who don't really support us. They can say as they please, but generally, like I say, it doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. Really, they can say as they want. You know, it is what it is. As long as I know myself, I give my 100% in playing. I give my 100% in practice, knowing that I prepared myself to the best I can. You know, as long as I do that and then I go on the pitch and give my best, and then that's it for me. There's no, and if I do well, great. If I don't do well, you know, great in that sense. It is what it is. People can say what they want. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. So
No, I think it's good.
in that sense, I've
You
been fairly strong.
You have to be mentally strong at the level of cricket you're playing at. So then, you know, we're coming. Still some more moments. 2016, you go back into another T20 World Cup. What a tournament over in India. You know, you had a very good tournament. You were consistent throughout the tournament. But I'm going to take you to the finale. What a game of cricket. I mean, I had Darren Sammy on. I did an episode with him a couple of weeks ago. It's out. And we talk about this game. And obviously, you know, they had momentum. You guys had momentum. It was like two box office teams coming against each other. You bowled a beautiful set of 1 for 23 in the final. But talk to me about the occasion.
Obviously, biggest occasion of my life, T20 World Cup final, big, massive crowd, probably, you know, whole world watching who, you know, likes cricket and stuff. So, big moment playing against West Indies. West Indies are known, you know, to be probably one of the best T20 sides around at that stage as well. So we were confident going in there as well because we had the team, we had the batsmen, we had the bowlers, we had every base covered.
Yeah.
So going in there, it was that kind of situation. But then again, like you say, we were confident. But you know what happens? That's cricket as well, isn't it? Whatever happened there as well.
It was a freak. I mean, we'll always forget it for the Carlos Brathwaite. I mean, Ian Bishop on commentary. The man came in and just changed the game out of nowhere. It looked like England had it won. It looked like you boys had it won. How was the dressing room after that? That must have been an emotional time for the boys.
Yeah, it was actually. You know, it was very emotional. You know, we were down. We were upset knowing that, you know, it was really, we were this close, like I said, to win the game. We were 4 balls away, a couple of balls away. But again, like you said, that shows that, you know, that's sport for you, that's cricket for you. Things happen. You know, it was upsetting that we lost it, but we also knew that, you know, we came a long way. You know, we came a long way from where we were to actually even be in that situation.
Yeah, because England didn't do so well in the early stages of the T20 World Cup. So this was, I mean, your team was unbelievable. This is going back to this team core of players that we're talking about now. I mean, you've got all bases covered. You bat all the way down to 11. You've got seam fast bowlers, batters, different types of batters, guys who can come in and clear the rope at will. I mean, must be really exciting going to train and be around that group of players.
Yeah, definitely. You know, when you got world-class players, you got people like, say, Josh Buller, Jason Morgan, Stokes. I can't even. I've got so many to name.
That's unbelievable.
When you got that on your team, it gives you that confidence knowing that, you know, we've got the batsmen here to smash it. We've got the bowlers. We've got fast bowlers. We've got spinners. We've got all-rounders. We've got every base covered. So it gives the team the confidence knowing that, you know, we can beat any team in any day. You know, if we have a bad start in the top order, we know we've got the middle order to recover. If not, we've got the lower order to recover. Bowlers, we know we've got 3, 4 fast bowlers. One doesn't do it, other can't. You know, we're all working as a team together. Once you know you got the backing, once you know you got the players like that, you know, your team's unstoppable type of thing. And that's what we felt like. We felt as though we had that. But just on that day, it wasn't meant to be. You know, it was one of them things. Carlos Brathwaite, he played. You know, he smashed 4 sixes in a row. That's amazing.
Unbelievable.
You know, not many people.
It can happen at that level. It can happen. sometimes I played many cricket games where you think you're home and dry. One player can just have it can be their day, and it was his day. You came back from there, 2016 and 17. You had a Test series against India, which is again a real test of your skills of where they're at. And two performances in particular that stood out for me was in one of the tests you took 4 for 114, and also you returned figures of 3 for 64 in one test, which again you must have taken so much confidence. I mean, the Indian batter is known for being the best players in the world of playing spin. So again, you must have proven to yourself that I can deliver at the top level.
Yeah, definitely. That was another big step. Going to India, playing Test cricket in India, playing bowling there, Virat Kohli, Pujara, the best players of spin in the world. So it was a challenge for me, but like I say, for me to perform there, doing quite well in a few Test matches, gave me the confidence. You know what? I can bowl to these people in their home conditions. I can get wickets. I can be a match winner in that sense. So it gave me that confidence, knowing that I went there. I had a good series, knowing that I can do this.
No,
that's what it was. That's what it felt like.
Amazing. 2018, another massive series against Australia. 12 wickets at an average of 21.50. I mean, things are really starting to motor now. You're really becoming a household name in world cricket. People know that Adil Rashid is a match winner, and your captain now has been showing confidence in you for a couple of years. So when you talked about the start of your career and not really knowing your game, now it's like this. You know exactly what you're doing when you go on the pitch.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, the captain knows my game plan. He knows what my job is in the team. I know what my job is in the team. That makes it a lot more clear. When I know captain knows, we're both on the same page. Like I say, in that series as well, just generally that series, he threw me the ball, generally throws me the ball. We talk about field placing, but then it's like, right, go do what you do, because he knows what I have been doing over the 5 years, over the 4 years. He knows what I'm capable of doing, and he gives me the confidence. And that series, like I say, got them wickets, an average of 21. That was a big series again for me as well against Australia.
Yeah.
And like I say, it was yet another step in the right direction.
Now, then a big moment in your career, brother. You decided in 2018 that I'm calling it a day in red ball cricket. I was a little bit, I'll be honest, I was a bit sad at the time. I mean, it'll be interesting to hear from your point of view now. You've obviously got your reasons, it's your career. I was a bit sad because, I still felt you could do a lot in Test cricket. But I mean, you got a little bit criticised at that point as well. There was a lot of bad media, negativity coming towards you. But talk to me about that time and the reasons and what led up to that.
So that was a decision I had to make. I wouldn't say make for a little while, because I was playing county cricket, for Yorkshire when I wasn't playing for England, and I wasn't really feeling it as well at that stage, in terms of playing red ball cricket. Because at that time as well, Test cricket, I was in out of the team, in out of the squad. I didn't really get a good, long run in Test cricket. It was in out. And then I was really thinking to myself, you know what? I really need to not do this, because this could personally not just affect my cricket with red and white ball, in my red ball, white ball cricket, could also affect me just generally mentally as well. Start thinking about it too much. How am I going to cope with this? What am I going to do? I can't do it. If I'm not enjoying it, if I'm not enjoying playing red ball cricket in terms of county cricket, how am I going to then perform? I'm not really giving my 100% to it. Therefore, as a result, it could affect my white ball cricket. And if it affects my white ball cricket, then, then I'm done type of thing. So this was going through my head as well. At that stage was, right, I'm not really enjoying it yet. So if I don't enjoy it, if I'm not giving my all, it's really going to, affect my game. So that's when I actually sat down and thought to myself, right, you know what? I think I'm doing red ball cricket at the moment. I don't want to. I think it's the best time not to play. So that's when I made a phone call, spoke to him, said, I'm just sticking to white ball, and thankfully everybody was okay with it. In terms of, like I say, Yorkshire, they were fine with it. England, they were fine with it. They were.
It was more the media. The media was probably implying that, it's the end of the world and everything. But you're obviously, I do think you've taken more to T20 and one day cricket, and you're a key part of the England setup and what they're going to do moving forward. So I think you made. At the time I was a little bit sad because I was thinking I would like to see you play a bit more Test cricket, but I can completely understand your reasons now, and you've not looked back. You went on. But just before we get to that, brother, I have to touch on something. Being Scottish, soon after that, you played in an unbelievable game of ODI cricket up in Edinburgh at the Grange. Beautiful sunny day. Scotland beat England, brother. You know what? I have to mention it because I mean we don't get to brag very often being Scottish. But what's your memory? What did you think of that game, and what did you think of the Scotland team in general?
Well, the beat us, so there was definitely something about them that they can, perform at the highest level.
Yeah.
It was a game obviously going in, we Scotland obviously not a massive name, but we still had to be on it. We still had to perform. It showed that, if you're not on it, you could still get beat by anyone.
Yeah.
And the Beers that day, they were the better team. Credit goes to them. Like it's a big moment for Scotland, not just the cricket, but I'm just guessing in Scotland generally.
Yeah, very big moment.
Obviously a bit upsetting from our point of view, losing to Scotland, which, we expect obviously to beat Scotland as well.
Yeah.
But that just give ourselves a reality check thing, make sure, let's get back on it. We've got to make sure that we're going into a series against Australia now, we really switch on again. But that series, like I said, Scotland played, tremendously well that game. Scored the ball well. The ground was nice. It was a lovely ground.
You got run out. Unfortunately, a really good bit of fielding by the young lad, Michael Lees, threw it in from the boundary. You were full stretched. That was near the end of the game. Unfortunately, got run out. Moyne was batting beautifully. Probably had the game won. And then put one down long on throw, and then obviously Tapian Sharif got the last wicket. So, and you're absolutely right. For us, it was everything. The boys had planned for the game. They worked hard for it. But I guess now, when the next time you meet, you boys will be looking to come very hard at Scotland and
definitely. You have to. It's a game, isn't it? It's a game where you're gonna go out, give you 100%. You can't take it lightly. You can't take any opposition lightly. You got to train as if you play against the best all the time, and that's what we tend to do as a team. So like I said, if they come against us again, I'm sure we'll try our best to beat them.
I bet there'll be a few short ones flying about. There'll be a few guys trying to bowl that extra bit quicker. You actually bowled. I mean, you bowled the beautiful. You actually bowled well in that game. You got the first wicket. I actually did a podcast with Kyle Coetzer. I actually told him beforehand that I was coming on, but he passed on his best wishes to you. Also, a few other people, Majid Haq, Manib Iqbal, they wanted me to pass the best wishes on to you as well. But you got the first wicket in that game, and you kind of started. We were worried, watching on, we were worried that you might just go through Scotland at that point. Thankfully, they were able to. They played you well. Callum McLeod played you really well that day. But no, it's good to hear you talk so sportsmanlike about the game, and I know you'll be looking for them in the next game. Moving on. It would be too much to talk about the whole World Cup campaign, but obviously 2015 when Morg took over the captaincy, you all built this core of players that was obviously building towards the big one, the World Cup in England. That was the time, 2019 World Cup. That must have been in all the meetings and everything, building towards that. You obviously had a fantastic campaign, you personally as well, announcing yourself as one of the leading bowlers in world cricket. And when it all came down to the final at Lord's against a very strong New Zealand team, waking up in the morning, brother, your breakfast and getting ready for the game, how are you feeling?
It was different. Waking up in the morning, there was a whole different atmosphere in the air. There was a different feeling. There was excitement. When you walk around seeing people's faces, excitement, anxious, not knowing what's going to happen, but also knowing that this is a big moment in international cricket for England, a big moment for England as a country as well. First time ever involved in a World Cup final in England cricket. Everything was going in our favour. England World Cup final. Lords, sunny weather, great weather. Oh, what a day, weekend. So everything was in our favour. There was excitement going around. There was a buzz flying around, anxious, people excited. And we all were as players as well, but we all maintained the same thing as well. We all maintained the same focus, knowing that, right, yes, it is a final, but take that out of the window. Don't think about that. Think about it as if it's another game. Keep doing our skills. Keep having the same mindset. Keep doing what we do. We got 11, match winners in the team. If one doesn't do it, other one can. And throughout the whole 11. So we were fully confident going in there, knowing that if we, stick to our game plans, we will achieve, we can win the World Cup. And that's what it was. During the game, obviously, a lot of things didn't go our way. A lot of stuff, with the bat as well. There were times where we lost 3-4 wickets quickly. Stokes and Butler batted superbly well to get us close. Then last over, Stokes got a 2. There was a 5. There was a overthrows as well.
Yeah.
Went to
Everything.
so there was a lot of stuff that went on, in that World Cup. That it is what it is. You can't write that script type of thing. People say you can't write that script.
Yeah.
But we didn't stop believing. Even when we looked like we were going to lose at one stage, people were doubting us or whatever. We still had that belief. We can win this. We've got match winners yet to come. We've got match winners in there. So we still always had that belief. And it showed as well, with that belief, with that match winning, with that passion, what we can achieve. And like I say, it came down to the final, it came down to the final over, it came down to the super over. And like I said, at any moment, we were always confident knowing we can still achieve this and win this.
So talk to me about. I mean, I was very proud. As a fellow Muslim, fellow Pakistani, seeing a picture of you and Moeen Ali holding the World Cup. You're obviously I'd imagine. I've not really touched on it too much, but you mentioned them all the way along the way. You must be almost like brothers, the two of you guys. You're both amazing cricketers. But talk to me about your relationship with him.
Yeah, me and Mo, like I said, are best friends. We do everything together. I've known him since I was age of 12, playing through age groups, playing with him, England, the 15s, everything. So me and him got along straight away. Yeah. Because we're very similar in terms of everything we, try to do, what we stand for, what we think of, what we want to achieve. So we just click. We're best friends. We share each of them, we speak to each other on a regular basis, talk to each of their problems, all that. So, have him along with the way with this journey and vice versa. It's been a massive thing. It's been a big help knowing that, right, we're going on tour for a month and a half, right, we're together for a month and a half.
Yeah.
You always you look forward to that then. There's excitement going around because you got that one friend you're always with, best friend you always talk with, you're always chatting with, spend all your time with, everything. So, like I said, for me, he's been a massive help, for myself as well, just for him to be around there on the pitch and off the pitch.
No, that's amazing. Listen, stay online for 2 seconds. I want to talk to you at the back end of this when I stop recording, if you don't mind, for 2 seconds. But I just want to finish by saying, Adil, it's been a real. It's probably I've done about 13 episodes, and this is obviously the launch of season 3, the new cricket series that I've done, and you have been, really excellent to talk to. I think you've spoken very honestly. And just any advice for any youngsters coming through? What would you say?
I think youngsters coming through, the advice would be making sure that you have fun first and foremost coming through. You have fun playing the game. Mm-hmm. Stay positive, keep a positive mind, and also obviously and have a dream. Dream big, have the belief, knowing that you can achieve it. You never have any doubts. Never doubt yourself. Go out there knowing that you can achieve anything if you put your heart into it. And and really have that belief that you can become something special. But it's having that mindset when you're as a young kid, is knowing that you can do as you can make it. But first and foremost, you got to make sure you enjoy it, enjoy the game. And also one big thing I would say is make sure that you listen to, for example, your coaches, listen to your parents, because that's where everything starts from, is making sure that they listen, because they know what's best for you at a young age, and hopefully inshallah you can go a long way.
And what's the future for Adil Rashid? What's your goals? What's your aspirations?
Well, I genuinely, when I look at myself, I don't tend to have any goals in that sense. You just take it day at a time, take a game at a time, see where life takes me in that sense. Obviously now just stay fit, play cricket as long as I can, as long as I can perform, and see where it takes me. Obviously, like going to the next World Cup, 50th World Cup would be a target if I had to think about it, which is the couple of years time. So that's there. Inshallah, if all goes well, stay fit, performances go well, then that's what it is. So but we'll see what happens, hopefully, inshallah. But hopefully there's still, inshallah, many more years to come.
No, I think so. You've got a bright career ahead, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you with all the success. Yeah. Thank you very much for your time. Please stay on for a moment, and I'll speak to you soon.
No problem.